That's wild.
Yeah.
What do you think is going on there?
Well, it really highlights the complicated psychology of entitlement,
Yeah.
especially when you consider the context. Madame Alice actually lost her husband when Bio was very young,
Oh, wow.
and it makes you wonder,
Right.
if her overindulgence stems from love or maybe a sense of guilt,
Oh, interesting.
a need to control. By shielding Bio from consequences, did she actually do him more harm than good?
Yeah,
That's something to consider.
definitely.
So this pattern of behavior doesn't stop there, though, right? It seems like Bio's sense of entitlement just grows and grows as he gets older.
And what happens?
So when Bio is 20,
Okay.
their house help, Linda, becomes pregnant.
Oh, wow.
And it's implied that Bio is the father.
So 20-year-old Bio
Yeah.
and the house help.
Yeah, and instead of confronting the situation, Madame Alice just immediately jumps in to defend her son.
Of course.
She refuses to even consider the possibility that Bio could be in the wrong.
So she's in complete denial.
Yeah, and it's a turning point in the story. It's not just about denial, though. It's about power.
Interesting.
Madame Alice, with all of her wealth and influence, forces Linda to have an abortion.
Oh, my gosh.
And I think that's a really stark reminder of the imbalance of power that exists in so many places.
Yeah.
Madame Alice has all the control, and Linda, a young woman with far fewer resources, has no choice but to comply.
She's stuck.
Yeah. So what does this dynamic tell us about them?
Well, it really makes you think about how these power dynamics play out time and again across societies. The vulnerable are often silenced by those with wealth and privilege.
Right.
It's a troubling pattern.
And this isn't an isolated incident.
Oh, no.
The transcript tells us that this happens multiple times. Bio impregnates Linda 3 times over the next couple of years.
Oh, my goodness.
And each time, Madame Alice steps in to arrange for an abortion
Wow.
and protect her son. It's a cycle of abuse that continues unchecked.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
So it's really disturbing to see how they've created this distorted reality where Bio can do no wrong.
Right.
Where does this leave Linda? How does she even cope with all of this?
I don't know.
I mean, the transcript doesn't delve too deeply into Linda's experience, but it's clear that she suffers immense trauma,
Yeah.
and she remains silent, most likely out of fear. It makes you wonder what the long-term psychological and emotional effects of this kind of abuse might be.
Right.
Not just for Linda, but for Bio as well.
Interesting.
He's living in a world where actions have no consequences.
Yeah.
What kind of person does that create?
Yeah.
What happens when he inevitably encounters a situation where his privilege can't shield him anymore? So the transcript goes on to say that Bio ends up at Delight Secondary School as part of his National Youth Service.
Okay, so after graduating from university,
Yeah,
he's obligated to spend a year teaching.
exactly.
It's interesting, though, because even before he arrives at the school, the transcript kind of reveals his predatory mindset.
Yeah, and there's a line where he comments on the pretty schoolgirls as he's pulling up to the school.
Oh, geez.
It's subtle, but it's chilling. It's a really, indication of what he's really thinking.
Yeah.
And that's what makes this case study so fascinating. We see this young man who has never faced any real consequences for his actions,
Right.
placed in a new environment,
Yeah.
and instead of seeing it as an opportunity for growth,
Right.
or even just fulfilling an obligation, he immediately views it as a new hunting ground.
It's like the stage is being set for something truly terrible to happen.
And that's precisely where we're headed next. We're going to dive into Bio's interactions at Delight Secondary School, particularly with a group of girls known as the PGS, the prettiest girls in school.
Oh,
This is where things take a really dark turn.
I can't wait.
Buckle up, listeners.
I am. So this is where we see how insidious Bio's behavior truly is.
Right.
He's not just a spoiled rich kid anymore.
No.
He's a teacher, an adult figure in a position of authority.
Right.
And the transcript shows how he uses this power to manipulate these young girls.
Yeah, it's almost chilling how the transcript sets him up.
Yeah,
He's not just stumbling into these situations, he's deliberately orchestrating them.
exactly. He uses his intelligence,
Uh-huh.
his charm,
Right.
and most importantly, his position as a teacher
Yeah.
to gain their trust
Right.
and influence their actions.
The transcript mentions all these extra tutoring sessions,
Right.
the lingering glances, the subtle physical contact.
Uh-huh.
Seems like classic grooming behavior. What are your thoughts on that?
Absolutely. Grooming is often a very gradual process.
Okay.
The perpetrator slowly builds trust and breaks down boundaries, making the victim feel special and isolated from their usual support systems.
And in this case, Bio uses his knowledge of physics to create a sense of intimacy with the girls.
Oh, wow.
There's this scene where he compares physical attraction to the laws of motion
What?
during a tutoring session with Joyce.
Oh my God.
It's pretty disturbing.
Yeah, it sounds like it's just a manipulative tactic
Right.
designed to blur the lines between student and teacher.
Yeah.
He's creating this sense of obligation and indebtedness in these young girls, exploiting their admiration and their desire to do well in his class. It's a dangerous game he's playing.
It really is. And it's interesting how the transcript portrays all three girls,
Right.
Joy, Beauty, and Precious,
Okay.
as being both attracted to Bio and competitive with each other.
Oh.
So it's like he's created this triangle where they're all vying for his attention.
You've hit on a crucial element of this type of manipulation.
Okay.
By playing the girls against each other, Bio ensures that they remain focused on him.
Right.
They're less likely to confide in each other or seek help from others.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then the story shifts dramatically.
Right?
During one of Miss Carroll's biology classes, the girls start experiencing some strange symptoms.
Right.
First Joyce,
Huh.
then Beauty,
Oh, wow.
and then Precious.
All three of them.
They all become violently ill.
What's going on?
Yeah, so Miss Carroll, concerned, takes the girls to the school clinic to see Dr. Margaret.
Okay.
And then Dr. Margaret asks them point blank,
Okay.
could any of you be pregnant?
Oh, my goodness.
The tension in that moment must have been palpable.
Yeah.
The silence that follows speaks volumes. You know, we, the readers, we
Right.
know what Bio has been doing.
Yeah.
And now the truth is about to be revealed.
And it is all three girls test positive for pregnancy.
This revelation completely shatters any sense of normalcy at the Light Secondary School.
Oh, wow.
Bio's actions and the potential cover-up are about to have major repercussions.
Wow. This is huge.
Yeah, this is where the real-world consequences hit hard.
Yeah.
We're not just talking about a scandal. We're talking about underage girls.
Right.
A teacher abusing his position of power.
And potentially a massive cover-up.
And potentially a massive cover-up. So what are your thoughts on how the transcript portrays the gravity of the situation?
The transcript does a good job of laying out the potential fallout from this scandal.
Okay.
For the three girls, Joy, Beauty, and Precious, their lives are irrevocably changed.
Yeah.
They face so many challenges.
Right.
Not just the physical, emotional aspects of teen pregnancy, but also the social stigma and the potential repercussions within their families and the community.
It's heart-wrenching to think about the choices that they'll have to make.
Right.
And the support that they'll need to navigate this incredibly difficult situation. Their futures are now filled with uncertainty.
Yeah.
And then there's Bio.
Right.
Will he finally face consequences for his actions?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Will he be held accountable, or will Madam Alice, as she's done time and time again, use her wealth and influence to shield her son from justice?
It makes you think about the role of wealth and privilege in shaping outcomes.
Yeah.
Do these factors play a part in silencing victims and perpetuating cycles of abuse?
It's certainly something to consider. This case study forces us to examine how power and privilege can often obstruct justice, leaving the vulnerable to bear the brunt of the consequences.
And we can't forget about Delight Secondary School.
Right.
This scandal will undoubtedly have a devastating impact on the entire community.
Of course.
It erodes trust
Yeah.
and raises questions about the safety and well-being of the students.
Absolutely.
So we started with the story of a spoiled son
Right.
and his overprotective mother,
Yeah.
but it's become so much more than that. We've
Oh.
uncovered a web of deceit,
Right.
abuse of power,
Yeah.
and a profound lack of accountability.
And as we move towards the end of this deep dive,
Okay.
it's important to remember that this story isn't over. The events at Delight Secondary School are still unfolding. There are so many questions left unanswered. Will justice prevail? Will the girls find the support they need? And will this scandal lead to any real change?
It's easy to get caught up in the drama of the story,
Right.
but what we're left with are some really thought-provoking questions.
Yeah, what happens now?
This deep dive might be over, but the conversation shouldn't end here.
I agree.
What are your thoughts? What resonates with you most from this story? We encourage you to reflect on these questions and continue the conversation.
This case study highlights a disturbing truth about the insidious nature of power and privilege.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that we all have a role to play in creating a society where vulnerable individuals are truly protected.
Absolutely.
What do you think needs to happen to make that a reality?
I mean, it's hard to even imagine what these girls are going through. They're
Yeah.
facing a situation that no teenager should ever have to face.
Their lives have been completely upended. They're dealing with the physical and emotional realities of pregnancy, the fear of judgment from their families and their community,
Right.
and the uncertainty of what their future holds.
And this whole situation really throws into question the safety and accountability of the school itself.
Yeah.
Delight Secondary School was supposed to be a place where these girls could learn and grow,
Right.
but instead it became the setting for something truly horrific.
You're right to point that out. This case really highlights how institutions can fail to protect those in their care.
Yeah.
It raises so many questions about the school's responsibility, their policies for preventing abuse, and how they'll handle the aftermath of this scandal.
It's a reminder that even in seemingly ordinary places, these power dynamics exist.
Exactly.
And when those in positions of authority abuse that power, the consequences can be devastating.
Absolutely.
So what about Bio?
Yeah.
Will he be held accountable?
Yeah.
Will Madam Alice try to sweep everything under the rug as she's done in the past?
It's hard to say.
Yeah.
The transcript doesn't give us any answers.
Right.
But it certainly prompts us to think about how wealth and privilege can often shield people from consequences.
We've seen this pattern play out time and again.
Yeah.
Not just in individual cases like this one,
Right.
but in broader societal structures as well.
Exactly.
It makes you question how we can create systems that are truly just and equitable,
Yeah.
where everyone is held accountable for their actions regardless of their social standing.
It's a complex issue with no easy solutions.
Yeah.
But this deep dive has really brought these questions to the forefront.
Right.
It's forced us to confront some uncomfortable truths about our world.
And hopefully it sparked a conversation that will continue beyond this discussion.
I hope so.
Because ultimately, change starts with awareness.
Right.
We have to acknowledge these injustices if we ever hope to address them.
I agree.
So what do you think needs to happen to create real lasting change?
Yeah. What can we as individuals do to ensure that vulnerable people are protected
Right.
and that those who abuse their power are held responsible?
That's a crucial question.
It is.
And I think it's one that each listener needs to grapple with on their own.
Right.
There's no single answer.
No.
But I believe it starts with education,
Yes.
awareness.
And a willingness to challenge the status quo.
We need to support organizations that advocate for victims of abuse, demand greater transparency and accountability from institutions,
Right.
and speak out against injustice whenever we see it.
That's right.
So this deep dive into this scandal at Delight Secondary School has been a journey.
It has.
It's a story that's left us with more questions than answers,
Yeah.
but those questions are important,
Yes, they are.
and they deserve our attention.
I think this deep dive has been really important.
Yeah.
It's easy to look away from these uncomfortable truths,
Right.
but we can't afford to be complacent. The well-being of individuals,
Yeah.
families, and entire communities is at stake.
Thank you for joining us for this deep dive.
Yeah.
We hope it sparked your curiosity,
Right.
challenged your assumptions.
And hopefully inspired you to think critically about the world around you.
And remember, even though this deep dive is over,
Yeah.
the conversation shouldn't end here. Keep asking questions.
Uh-huh.
Keep learning.
And keep fighting for a more just and equitable world.